Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tuesday, March 13th, 6 p.m. Town Board meeting, Town of Grand Rapids Municipal Building. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item number 2, approve agenda. Hearing nothing. Item 3, approve minutes from February 13th, 2018, Town Board meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Andrew.
I'll second.
Second by, let's see, the good voice, that was Dan's. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I am an aye. Anybody opposed? No opposed. Public comment period. People wishing to address the board limited to 2 minutes each. Public comment limited to a total of 30 minutes. Anybody in the audience wishing to speak this evening? Hearing none, move on to the next agenda item is reports, monthly reports from departments. Fire Department Chief Don Bone.
Good evening, board, citizens. Since our last report, we have had 32 calls for service in the town, 25 EMS calls, kind of a rash of motor vehicle accidents. We had 4. 1 carbon monoxide check and 2 mutual aids, one to the village of Buren and one out in Saratoga in the Clusas coverage area. Both relatively significant fire calls, daytime calls, so all the departments involved were slightly stretched for staffing. Our training for the month, our EMS actually had their training on Thursday evening. They just went over some scenarios of practical things that we do out in the field, actually auto extrications and some stuff like that. With our rash of 1050s, we get quite involved in that. So went over some basics of extrication. The fire department is doing our spring fire training with our DNR. The DNR staff will be coming out and going over wildland fire training, so especially can bring some of the younger people up to speed. Obviously our snow cover is not very significant this year, so as usual the DNR is anticipating a potential for some accelerated fire growth this spring. So I guess exercise caution. Burning permits are required already, even though there is still some partial snow cover. The statewide permits are available online with the DNR or in our office here at the store in Kellner. But I guess we always tell you, you're better safe than sorry to have the permit and know what the burning requirements are. Other than that, we held our normal monthly training, or our officers' meetings and things for the month. Once again, I want to reiterate, we do have our smoke detector program through the American Red Cross. I will be receiving some more detectors on Thursday. We do have about 8 or 9 sitting there waiting to, households waiting to have them installed. So we will continue with that. We can install up to 3 smoke detectors per house. They're totally funded through the American Red Cross. The program is actually going rather well. So if you're interested, see us here, stop at the fire department, or just call and we can get things in the works for you. Like I say, we're still always looking for members of the fire department. We're going to be having some recruitment coming up in the future. Like I say, we have opportunities to be a regular firefighter or our non-structural firefighter. There's a lot of duties that we do on a daily basis that aren't the internal going into a burning building. Some of the things that sometimes people think firemen do on a daily basis. But there's a lot of activities that we do that even with marginal training and stuff, we can make you a very productive help with the fire service in our town. It is Easter egg hunt time again. On March 31st at 10 a.m. we'll be holding our annual Easter egg hunt at Mid-State Tech. Like we always say, it starts at 10 a.m. sharp, usually lasts till about 10:02. It's a great event. Kids and parents enjoy it. Like I said, we get a lot of nice donations from the area businesses and members of the community. So if anybody's interested in coming out, like I say, we're there. Like I say, try to be early. Better to be early than late. So like I said, we enjoy it. It's probably 40-some years we've held it. So it's a neat morning. Good way to get to know some of your neighbors and entertain some of the children. So hopefully the weather will cooperate. I don't think all the snow piles will be gone, but we'll probably not hide any eggs on the snow pile. So, any questions on the fire department side of things?
I got two things. One, the Easter Bunny always makes his appearance at the hunt too.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one thing. And the other thing is, and I don't know if you're going to mention later, we had a recent retirement of a very long time member, Clarence Cook, over 35 years on the department, which is, I don't know if you'll see that too much anymore. I mean, that is definitely a dedication and long-term. And as a board member and a firefighter, I'd like to wish him well and thank him for his many years of service. You know, he's a true asset to the department.
Correct. The Cook family in general, there's been some member of the fire department, or the Cook family on the fire department since the day it was created in 1959. We do still have one of our captains is still on, but he is the last remaining of that family that'll be on the fire department that we know of. So it's a long time. So definitely appreciate everybody's service, whether it's 1 year or 35 or 40. So anything else?
If not, you can go to the safety department
Safety
report.
is just as good as last month. No injuries to report. Everything being safe and sound. So.
Any questions? Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
I'll now request the presence of Police Chief Mel Peterson, showing us off his fine wears on his arm.
Yeah, so unfortunately. So, good evening, everyone. Okay, the police department handled 290 calls for service for February, compared to 332 calls for service of February 2017, about a 12.6% decrease in calls. Once again, the board members should have their breakdown of the calls. The police department issued 45 traffic citations, 3 municipal ordinance citations, and 21 written warnings for the month of February. I attended the Wisconsin Chiefs of Police Association 2018 Wisconsin Police Leadership Foundation Midwinter Training Conference at the Wisconsin Dells, February 11th through the 14th. Once again, the conference was well attended. Every year it seems they get more and more members there and have bigger turnouts, more vendors, things like that. So every year it seems to be getting bigger. Training included motivation to pick up the pieces, weeding out our morale-killing behaviors, officer-involved shooting and what to expect, an investigator and officer perspective, and legal updates. I think the highlight for me and turned out to be very appropriate. The guest speaker at the President's Reception and Dinner Banquet was Michelle Gay of the Safe and Sound Schools. That's a Sandy Hook initiative, and she's one of the co-founders. She had a special needs daughter that was killed at Sandy Hook, and her presentation was very spellbinding. It was just unbelievable. And then it turns out the next day they had the shooting out in down in Florida. So just the timing was just unbelievable. If anybody ever has a chance to attend one of her speeches, by all means do it, because it's very special. Once again, it provided an opportunity to network and develop professional relationships with other police executives from throughout the state. And then on Tuesday, February 27th, I participated in the reality check. This was a program was involving seniors at Lincoln High School here in Wisconsin Rapids. Representatives from local law enforcement and community leaders met with seniors in small groups to discuss current drug trends, issues, and negative financial impact it has on our community. Once again, I was encouraged and amazed at some of the responses that some of these seniors have, and the discussions that it generated, and it was provided a learning experience for me. I think it was last week I received the results, and I forwarded those to Chairman Nystrom, and he can forward those out to you. But it provides some of the results that these seniors provided during that discussion. The vehicles are doing well outside of normal maintenance, and as always, if you want to stop by, I'm going to be in the office quite a bit here in the next week or 10 days, so if you want to stop by and chat, by all means do so. Any questions?
Any questions? Go ahead, Dan.
The new squad is,
I haven't checked this week yet. When we ordered it, they said at the earliest, the middle of March.
oh, they did.
Yeah, so, you know, if I don't hear anything this week, I'll probably put a phone call in and see where we're at with it sometime next week. So that was kind of the earliest they expected it. I'm hoping if we get it before the end of March, we'll probably be doing pretty good, so.
And then graphics, did you put different graphics on one of them just lately? I just saw, that's why I thought it was actually here, because I saw something go by, no?
No, we had
Maybe it was this.
we had a Cardier with one of the squads, and
Might have changed the look.
No,
Yeah, it might have changed the look a
Police
little.
really had a neat graphic on, I just.
Traffic.
Was that where that?
That one drives around and they have that's a similar, it's the whole chunk squad that comes from rural and
yeah,
rural.
right, that
Can
one.
sometimes be mistaken. It's a Dodge Charger.
Maybe that's, I just
Yeah.
caught my eye,
Oh,
and I didn't
yeah.
catch the side of it, I thought, wow,
Very
No.
bold.
very bold, yeah, yeah, so.
Can you just tell the audience what kind of vehicle was purchased then?
We purchased a 2018 all-wheel drive Dodge Charger pursuit vehicle. It's very similar to the two other Dodges, the 2013, 2014 that we have, only it's going to be all-wheel drive instead of two-wheel. So that should help a lot during the winter.
Any other questions? If not, thank you very much. Amy Cook, Treasurer.
Good evening. For the month of February, receipts were $310,156, and current month disbursements were $2,203,556. Cash on hand at the end of the month was $1,392,453, with $105,524 in checking and $989,874 in the repo account, with $316,874 in the money market. Any questions?
Any questions? Hearing none, thank you. Consider possible action on resolution, this will be 2018-09, by the way, to amend ordinance 2, regulating burning and prevention suppression, to add the language regarding emergency authority to abate hazard, and to revise language for reimbursement of fees for use for specialized equipment.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2018.9.
Motion by Dan, second by Andy. Discussion, go ahead.
Go
Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So just a question on it. If you're at my house and I don't have a burning permit and you burn up a fire hose, I have to pay for that fire hose? Is that kind of what it is?
No.
No, it's not. That was the particular language I saw that I thought meant that.
No.
Is it different? Is it different if I don't have a fire permit rather than have one?
Well, the DNR is typically going to be involved in anything regarding wildland fire and stuff, and the DNR sometimes bills a lot, we typically don't bill for any services whatsoever other than, they say, some of the specialty things we utilize, like the fire extinguishing tools that we just purchased. That's where this basically is stemming from. A lot of times if you have a hazmat situation where you're using a lot of specialty chemicals for fighting the fire, allows us to get some of that recovered, but day-to-day operations of a hose getting burnt or things like that is normal operations.
Okay, thank you.
Another question?
I do. One of the main things I recall that we spoke about at our meeting was to have the verbiage of the fire chief or designee. When I was looking at this, as an example, 21B1, it just, it gives a list of the fire chief, assistant chiefs, and officers, but then if you go to 2, it just talks about the fire chief, and 3, the fire chief. So should and there were a couple more in here, 5 and 6. Those areas, do you believe, should also be changed to include or designate?
I think they certainly could. I don't think we would, that we could not pass the ordinance now and make those grammatical corrections,
Okay.
because it simply would be just, and then
It's more of a.
a formatting type of thing where we want everything to say,
To say those.
to follow the order.
Yes.
Understand?
That was brought up at legislative too, Nick, but I thought we had a reasoning for
I
not
think
doing
it,
it.
I think it wasn't really changed from what I recall, and I could be wrong, but was changed under the emergency authority.
Yeah, because it was talked about at legislative, but Nick had a reason for not changing, but
And I understood it to be that all of it would be changed.
Okay.
So
yeah, I can check with
I
him
don't
in
know
an
what
email
we want
tomorrow.
to do about that.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you, Mr. So one of the things that a fire, and say the fire chief don't show up, there's somebody in charge, and how's that person? I mean, what if 3 officers don't show up? Is there somebody that everybody knows in charge? No?
Our protocols are, it's the officers according to rank, and then the senior member if none of the officers happen to be present.
Okay, thank you.
It's been in our bylaws that way since '59.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had to exceed past an officer. There's always at least been one officer, if not multiple. But there is a protocol to go right down if we would need to. Any other questions? Hearing none, is, go ahead, Pat, if you
Yeah,
do.
just one more question, as far as with the, with my question, as far as having all the consistency throughout, if we approve this, is that something that we have to come back to, or how are we going to? do it? 'Cause
What I would
motion
suggest, we
doesn't-
approve this one as presented, we give it back to Nick and ask him to make those corrections, then we'll approve it again.
Okay, that's fine.
That would make the
Can we
most
approve,
sense.
can we just make the motion?
We can motion to approve this, but then we would need to put it on the agenda again so that we can approve the verbiage and if we consider it correct. If it needs to be corrected, then they could do it, we could have it on our agenda again.
All right.
So rather than hold this up any longer just for the stuff for the stuff that's in, I'd like to move this forward. So any other questions? Hearing none, was there a motion to come forward? I'll make a motion to approve.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
If there was.
Yes, first and second is done.
We're in discussion stage now.
I thought we were.
Next one, sorry.
Dan made the
Motion.
motion, Andy seconded it.
Thank you.
So then we were in the discussion part.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye too, believe it or not. Any negative?
So you're gonna check with,
I'll email.
oh, perfect, if you can let us know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to resolution, this would be item 7, 2008-10 ordinance 10 regulating speed, reducing speed limit on Each Avenue. There is a correction on it because in the draft of this ordinance, I see it says to North Park Road, and it actually should have been to 64th Street. Because we approved that
Right,
in.
it was
Yeah,
64.
so this would just need to be a written hand, and we'll get a correction to it.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance and with those changes.
Motion by Bill, second by Andrew. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed. I didn't catch that, sorry, Lisa, until 5 o'clock tonight. Otherwise, we could have had it printed. Item 8, consider possible action on upgrading the fire department's website. Fire department website is not what you call iPad or tablet or telephone friendly. So we checked the sources, and town CMS, or that does our web hosting, offered it to us for a $500 price. Their normal rate was, what, $670 something, I thought? Yep, $679, and they would give it to us for $500, and it would still be grandfathering in our $25 monthly hosting fee. That would be grandfathered in, and that new rate is $50, I believe. Is there any questions on it?
So is this the same that does our town website?
Yes. It would be put into the same format as the town website.
And that's in addition to our fee that we pay for the town?
We've been paying for the fire department to have their own website.
Right.
Yeah, so there's no change to the fee, we would pay them $500 to optimize it.
Oh, okay.
That's all they're doing.
So it's just a one-time 500 flat
Right.
fee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Go ahead, Bill.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. So that doesn't include any equipment that's necessary, because you said all these things were not compatible with what we have now. Would this change that at all?
No, we don't need any equipment changes. It's just hosted on a computer, or a hosting website, I should say, and people are directed to it, and the website will determine what's coming into it, whether it's an iPad, a tablet, or a phone, and it will optimize the site so that it shows it in order. Otherwise, you'd only get half a page or something. Go ahead.
And then also the pictures, does that include the upgrade
Yep.
of that?
Yep.
Because there's some older.
There's some older pictures there, and
Not that they're bad for history, but.
no. What we would do is we would supply them with a new disk file of current pictures to take and change the heading, and probably use our ladder truck, for example, on there
Right.
rather than our old fire truck.
Right.
We did check with Wood County at our meeting. We did our public safety meeting. There was a comment that maybe Wood County would do it. We did check with them, and no, they will not do town websites. And they won't host them at this time. They said that was something that maybe they would consider down the road, but they just don't have the capability of hosting other websites at this time. So a motion would be acceptable to, for or against the upgrade of the website, and it'd be $500 would be the cost.
I'll make a motion to do the upgrade of the fire department's website for the flat fee of $500.
Motion by Patty, second by Dan. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed.
Can we go backwards for a second?
What do we need to do here?
Well, I'm just looking at Nick's ordinance. Does that mean then the next one then is, so he's got your change 25 to 40, so the North Park, but then is this wrong then too? Because this one says then 35, 20 W to 40 East Street.
No, that's correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
That-
So it's
that part
just-
was correct.
Just the first part?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
No, we weren't changing that section, just those two next sections, because on the other side of 64th is already 25. Okay. And consider possible action on the municipal emergency operation plan. This was provided to us by emergency government. Just need to fill in the blanks and et cetera, but is this format acceptable to the town board?
It was for me.
Okay, is there a motion to use this format then?
I'll make
Go ahead.
make a motion to use the format from the municipal emergency operations plan presented.
Motion by Andrew, second by
Patty?
Patty. Any other discussion? Go ahead, William.
Well, thank you, Mr. Is this the first time, I know in talking to Steve, who's head of emergency government, that this is done annually? Am I wrong in assuming that? Or is this the first time we ever had an emergency plan?
This is our first plan that looks like this.
Okay, thank you.
as far as the updating on a yearly basis, I think what Chief Bowman was talking about was adding Appendix A, which would be an update as to who's the current officers and et cetera, that wasn't that the intention?
Names and phone numbers.
Right.
Basically, all that's gonna be updated annually, so.
So what we would do is add an automatic update to this ordinance with a link to the current people that are in charge.
So could we have a date on this somewhere?
Oh, sure.
That indicates
Well,
that?
It'd be effective as of today that you've approved
Okay.
it, so that's what today's date would be on it. Any other discussion?
Who will be the keeper of making sure that every year the names are
I
updated?
think it's probably gonna be Amy's.
Okay, just so it was clear. Oh, that's a good one. Sorry, Amy,
I'll
but
take it
thank you.
on.
Thank you.
We'll talk about that budget time.
No, we'll figure out if it's better for the clerk or we'll figure it out. But maybe the clerk will take it on, but pass it on to Amy.
Sure. Okay.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed. Item 10, consider possible action on the appointment of the agent change for the store. This is Melissa Wanta. I think she's been their agent before, is that correct? Looks like it's gone through inspector or review by Chief Sergeant David Drinkline, and he has approved it. So he-
Is it 1 or 2 years?
This is the agent change, so
Agent
there's not a
change.
year.
It's not a year.
Oh, it's not a
Just
year,
the-
it's neither.
She's just filling in basically until they replace.
Okay.
So will there be another one once they find?
Could
out?
very well
be.
Very likely.
Yeah,
Yep.
could very well be.
Okay. Need a motion? I'll make a motion that we approve the appointment of agent change.
I'll second.
Motion by Dan, second by William. That's Melissa Wanta for the store.
Right,
All in favor, say aye. I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed.
that's you.
11, February disbursement vouchers. Any questions?
No, I did not have any.
Item 12, operator license applications. Do we have any? None.
Yes, we do.
Oh, we do.
It should be on your.
Michelle Buckman.
Oh, I'm sorry, here it is. We have Michelle Buck for the store and James Kinney for Bud's Corner Mart, 1 year, and these are new applicants and they were approved by the police department, correct?
Yes.
Bill made the motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Bill, seconded.
Patty?
Patty? You guys are fighting over seconds, aren't you? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm aye, any opposed? No opposed? Monthly reports from departments. We are at, move right along, I told you. Ooh, I ain't gonna make a half hour.
Setting the precedent, Arnie.
Public Works, this kind of goes along with roads. Spring road postings will be going up starting tomorrow. County trunks that typically get posted will be posted. They will be on the county's website. We do have some town roads that are also posted, and I don't have that list right in front of me right at the moment, but what we'll do is we'll put it on the town's Facebook and webpage to note the public, and I typically get a hold of the people such as the concrete people that always need to start new homes early and make sure that we get safe routes for them to get in and out of the locations. It is officially pothole season. Crew's been out patching any that they see, but if the public does find some, please give us a call. We'll get it on a list and get it to the crew and send them out. Road needs to be dry first so that we get a good seal with the patching asphalt that we use. The ones we've patched just in a few days look like they're holding really well, so it's good material we're using. No equipment problems. All vehicles are well and good. We did start using some carbide tip blades on some of the plows, which is saving us a lot of labor and material changing blades out as often. Rick's primary truck with the scraper blade, that's the lower blade behind below the box. We put a carbide tipped one on there, and he still hasn't had to change it yet, and did a lot of scraping, so. We just put a set on a end loader just the other day to see if we can continue that, so less cost that we get from material-wise changing them, and they get pretty heavy as they're pretty thick. We did find a source for the carbide tip blades that was considerably less. Monroe Truck in Marshfield now sells them, and so we hope to get some reasonable price blades, get them on them, and only have to change the blades once a season possibly.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
That'd be a huge savings.
huge.
Get that.
Any questions on Public Works that I could try to answer?
Yes, do you anticipate having the crew go out or fill in a lot of the low shoulders where they're...
On the edges of the road?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
good.
do that every spring.
Right, okay, so if I
If
see
you see some specifically, we see
Okay.
drop-offs, let us
Yes.
know.
And then also, that would be, some people will take those corners short,
Yep.
and so that breaks the blacktop too. That would be another,
Mhm.
okay, very good.
Woodrock Avenue at 48 seems to get it all the time.
Mhm.
We constantly have to patch
Right,
those.
okay.
We get some that's off the county roads. We try to get the county to do them, but sometimes they kind of seem to be a little slow doing those type of things, so we've had to do some of them
Okay.
and remind them of the fine service we're doing for them.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, we'll go down to Patty. We had a plan commission meeting last evening, right?
Yes, we did. We approved one dog exemption. We had a land use permit approved for showers for the, what is it called, boot camp,
Limitless boot
Yeah,
camp.
yes, thank you. They want to add showers. We also reviewed our annual reports for next month. And the last one was like a warming house on 40 acres. So it didn't have any electricity or heating to it, so it's just a shelter per se.
Okay. Any questions? Public safety?
We did meet last month, we worked again more and had started getting our draft for our fire department flyer that's going to go in the newsletter coming up. We are still working on that since actually Don and I just met yesterday to put kind of the final touches on what we're going to do, and the goal is to have that before the board in the April meeting, so
Okay.
for approval. We also discussed some fire department meeting times. No action was taken on that, but we did have a discussion on that as well, so that was about it.
Okay. I missed their last meeting as I was sick. Any question? WTA meeting? I know some of you guys have gone to the annual meetings. If you want to, anything you wanted to touch base to update on, go ahead. You may take turns or whatever.
Tag team
Folder,
it?
yeah,
Tag
we got
team
it.
it?
Did you bring
Okay,
a
well,
folder, Bill?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I just wanted to make, was talked about was the mileage reimbursement from the state, where it was at 2202 is now at 2389 per mile. Also
Isn't
in.
that 53?
Yeah, 54, or 54 is the new one. It went from 53 to 54, 51 to 54.
You said 23,
Yeah.
Patty.
Okay, sorry.
That was 1932, by the way.
Yeah.
Backwards, right?
Thank you. Okay, so then they also spoke about, I must have been dreaming at that second time. They spoke about the non-ferrous mining ordinance, which I want to talk about or add for our legislation meeting. They spoke about if we wanted to have any changes to do it before July of 2018, as far as measurable conditions is what they spoke about. Noise levels, car count, and that. So that's one thing I'd like to when we meet at legislation to be discussing that. And then, one of the other things too, and I'm not quite sure about the meaning of it, but we can maybe talk about that at another meeting, but they had explained that you have to spend $2,810 per mile in order to get a full amount,
Right.
which it amounts that you have to have that as an average, a 3-year average. So if you drop below that in the 3-year average, then you don't get the full amount
Right,
reimbursed.
there's a form that the clerk has to
Okay,
submit every year for that.
okay.
And
And then-
that has to be done.
Yeah.
I know towns that didn't do that 10, 15 years ago, and are still suffering because of it.
Oh, okay. And so that was, of course, we get recertified for Board of Review training, so.
Dan, you have anything from your
That's
meeting?
pretty much it, other than there's some few changes on the border review, as far as the dates and that, and the 45-day period beginning the fourth Monday of April, but not sooner than the 7 days after the last day of the assessment, and that stuff. But other than that,
Yeah, those are the typical days that you have to hold it in, but you still can open it up and postpone it to another date, but you have to actually.
Actually have the meeting.
Yep.
Correct.
We've had that, do that on occasion when our assessor,
It was last
being that
year.
he has so many customers, I guess, that was sometimes difficult. Yep. Anything else on it? Andy, did you have anything from the meeting? It's all covered?
Yep, all covered.
Bill, any other?
Just, one of the things that I found, going to a different district meeting is, things are kind of the same, but, we're so lucky in the Towns Association to have 3 attorneys at your disposal anytime you want. And that's why a lot of villages are also joining, but, in an assessor, one of the strangest thing is that you can't put a dumage assessment on if somebody don't let you on your property. At one time, you could put a dumage assessment on it. And now, they're entitled to come to the board of review and everything. So if they don't want the assessor on your property, he don't go.
All right, move on to Airport Commission. We did meet just a typical season where there's very small traffic coming in and out of the airport, few planes. We have had a couple business jets in recently. There's been some activities around the area for various people looking to purchase businesses. I guess that's probably the language that I want to use without saying anything negative about anything. So some traffic coming in and out of the airport. May 10th at 2 p.m. in the afternoon will be a groundbreaking ceremony. That will be for the new construction season of the airport. It's being tied in on a regional, rural economic development meeting that's being planned for that day also. So if you want to check your calendars and see if that's available to you, that will be May 10th also. It's going to start at the Mead. They'll have some breakfast and discussion there. They will then go to the Tribune building and a couple other businesses in the area, talk about economic development possibilities. They'll go back to the Mead for lunch and then come out to the airport around 2 o'clock for the ribbon cutting ceremony. And then they will then move on down to Adams County to go down to the Sand Valley development and have a thing. This process is being actually set up by Reggie. They are involved in putting together the invitations. They will go out to all legislators. They expect that to be a day that legislators would be available. So they're hoping to have a fair amount of them to come up to this Central Wisconsin Regional Rural the economic development meeting. So that's a date that,
What day of the week is that?
that's a Thursday.
Thursday.
Other than that, construction should be starting as soon as the frost is out of the ground on the runway 30. That's the one that's being widened and rebuilt with federal and state and our share of funding on that. That's a project that was scheduled probably 6 years out. It's finally coming to fruition. Any questions? And yes, we had another accident at our airport with the fence. Third one this season. And believe it or not, this person had insurance this time.
Me.
Good. So, nothing else, public buildings, did you meet yet?
We met last month, and we are moving forward with our, the remodeling of the office. We're just kind of looking on some final details, and you're gonna hopefully see some activity in that area soon.
Okay. Thank you. Questions? Economic development, Patty, anything?
Central Sands ground meeting was on February the 19th. Peter Manley did retire, and so this was Rick Bacofa's first meeting that he had. One of the main things that they were talking about was to get the stakeholders of around this area to come to the table and just to be committed and to talk more about the groundwater. And then also Rick had mentioned that he wanted to see about this area have like the cranberry growers or the other stakeholders around to see what clean groundwater means to them and to listen to their perspectives without having any finger pointing. He also mentioned about making sure that they bring the landscapers to the table. They were able to do that in Adams County. So it was, he had explained about that program that they did in Adams County, that the landscapers were able to, anyone that did not over applying fertilizers and whatnot were awarded a certification. And so, so that they would, I don't know how to say it, was that they were not over applying fertilizers. So that program seemed to be working well. And then also, one of the members passed around a handout with a water audit proposal, and it is aiming to establish and publish baseline data for water quality in the Central Sands area. So the next meeting is March 19th at 2 to 4 at the Saratoga Town Hall.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Other than that, Patty and myself will be meeting with the mayor of Wisconsin Rapids on Friday morning. They've asked us to come in and talk to them about their water park that they're going to put in. They're not asking us for funding. They just want to talk to us about it and see if the town would be, one shape, matter, or form, be willing to do something.
Participate.
There you go. There we go. So we'll bring back that results of that meeting to you. Recycling solid waste, any updates?
Well, we're gonna have a meeting here in the next week or so. Just one of the things, I'm invited to a United Way function where they're giving out on awards, and they get one for the Choose to Reuse program.
Okay.
The invitation hasn't come out yet, but I got an email from them asking me if I would attend it.
What were the dates again, Bill, for Choose to Reuse?
It'd be be May 19th, which is the third Saturday of May, and September 15th, which is the third Saturday of September.
Okay. Legislative committee, we were going to meet, is that Tuesday we're meeting?
Yes.
Tuesday. So we have a full packed agenda. We didn't get everything on the agenda. There's just too much to do. We're trying to get the important stuff out of the way and then work our way down on the list. Personnel Committee, anything to update us on?
No, we did, we are meeting, we're gonna be meeting here shortly, and we're working on updating our current policies. Just because some of them we haven't looked at for so long.
Okay. Reports from individual board members. William, anything?
No.
Dan, anything?
Nope.
Patty?
No, thank you.
Amy?
No.
Andrew?
No.
Lisa?
No.
Arnie? Nothing. Ooh, look at that. Public input. Anybody else in the board wish to speak to the board? Limited to 2 minutes. Hearing none, establish next agenda. We'll do that as we go. Motion to adjourn by Dan, second by Andy. Just one comment. There is a legislative, not a legislative, but a Legal Women Voters Forum Thursday for town board members. Those that are running for service, I believe it's at 6 p.m. And if they get a chance to listen to it, go right ahead. The motion was made second. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye opposed. Thank you.